G'day, welcome back again to Dad vs. Son, now playthrough of Fortress Europa from Compass Games. And we're about to go on to the German part of Term 4, the last week in June. So, things are not looking good for the Germans here. But we'll just see what they can and can't do. Rightio, so first things first is the German replacement phase, and for this we have the two SAC bombers in the German replacement's attack area, which means we reduce them by 2, so they get nothing for this week whatsoever, and they have no replacements whatsoever because they used them up last time. Right, so next we have their first move, Impulse. So what do we want to do with them? Looking at it to start with, I'm starting to try and wanting to build up a line along here, on that river, and try and protect Paris a little bit. But that's not going to be easy either. I need to try and get some other forces up into Cherbourg and into Caen, and see what we can do there. Which we may well be able to do. So the Germans don't have any reinforcements or anything, nothing arriving this turn. So what they've got is what they've got. So it's going to be interesting. So I'll pause it there, have a look at what I want to do, and then we'll come back and see what we can physically do to help. Okay, so there's really not a great deal we can do here, but we're going to try. Sorry, that's got to come off there. Yeah, I forgot one. So let's start down here. I'm going to pull these troops back and try and hold in here. So the 243rd is just going to go 1, 2 into there like that. And the 25th is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here. And just try and help out there as well. Sitting them up here is really not going to do much at all. Even with the double firepower, they're just not going to do anything with that. So that is that. The next thing I want to do is I'm simply going to bring the 3rd here back to Orleans along with the 275th, and simply leave them there for the time being. At least they're doubled up. I can move 6 by rail. So, but I can't move there. This guy is simply going to come forward. 1, 2, 3, 4 to help out here, along with the 9th SS Panzer. And they're done. I'm going to bring 2-4. Sorry, 2-6 up to here. Don't need that anymore. Just into wherever that is, Rouen, and I can bring the headquarters up later if I want as well. So don't need that at the moment. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and take these guys out. Can I do that? Not really. I'd like to. So these guys have got 15 at the moment. I've got 8, 14, 22 there. The trouble is I can bring them up to here. If I add these in, 22 gives me 30, which is a 2-to-1. So, Jesus Christ almighty. Okay, so that's going to give me a 2-to-1 attack there. I've got to come up this way. I can't cut off their retreat. They don't have to retreat because they're in there anyway. But that's that. My biggest problem has been deciding what to do with Rommel and his people. And again, these are not very strong. There's only 4, 6, 13 there. So I don't have enough to hit these corps whatsoever, or down here in Le Mans or anything. So I'm actually thinking of simply bringing them back across the Orne and just sticking them in here for the time being. And then basically coming back to maybe down into this area here. But if we come into here, I don't think they really want to come around this way to start with. I think they'll probably want to try and bash through here into 15, in which case that'll give us a bit of a chance. So these 3 units here will move back into there. Rommel can follow up later. So I'll just leave that on there and that on there because I want to move those leaders later. The only other thing is these guys over here that I'm going to bring forward on rail movement, and that's just 2 Panzer divisions sitting in Metz, and I'm going to bring them forward by rail, and they're going to come up to here like that. So they've come up along this rail line into here. So they've got rivers all around them except for here. So if anybody wants to attack them, at least they've got a double up, which is good. And that's basically it for their movement. So we go into the German first combat. They don't have any aircraft or anything else to help. So like I said, between these ones and these ones and this one, we have a 2-to-1 for the Germans. Not great. For a 4. And 2-to-1 for a 4 is an exchange. So I think, again, what they're probably going to do is exchange this little fella here with this little fella like that. And I think the Americans will just take the 5th down like that. Both sides take, both sides take 1 step loss, and then the attacker retreats, all surviving defending units 2 hexes, except we're in rough and units not required to retreat. And that's why we're in there like that. So that's their combat. So we go into their second move now. So Rommel can come back now onto there. This little leader here, I'm going to bring down to these units here. like that. And I could leave all these here to have another go. Or I can start to pull some of them back. So they've now got 3, 6, 12. And again, we have 6, 22. So if I pull back the third, that still gives us 24, which is still a 2 to 1. So we can move, the paras I think can only move the 1. Yeah. So they'll just pull back here. They're still in the rough, which is good. And we can do our, don't think anybody else needs to move. No. So we go into the German second combat phase, and again we have a 2 to 1 here. For a 6, which is a D1. So again, now the second will be reduced like that. And again, retreat 2 hexes. We don't have to retreat. So there we are. Done. Right. We then go into the German rail control phase. So again, we are blocked off here. Nothing can come through. We're all fine up to here. We're all fine down through here and all the rest of it. So this is the only one that's basically blocked off at the moment, coming up into the peninsula here. So that's done. We look at the supplies for Germans. So again, everything down in the 1st military district is good. Everything in the 7th military district is within 5 of Rommel, or in a city or a fortress city. So they're all good as well, and everybody else over the other side is fine. They're more than 5 away from any American forces, so there is no hassle with any of them. So we go to the end of turn segment. No aircraft to remove. Can't move markers. So this one comes off for the Americans. These can't moves are for, I don't need that there anymore because he can't move anyway because he's a 15 unit, and he can't move because he's in there. And that's a 15 unit, so I can remove that. I don't need that there anymore. So that's it. That was extremely short, only about 13 minutes. It's a little bit strange in that I think, we've done extremely well with the Allies to open up what we've been able to open up so far. It's been absolutely wonderful. The Germans, they just don't have enough to take out the Allies. When we break out of 7th military district, which we might actually do this turn, but that'll open up everything. But again, they don't have that many good units to bring forward. I'm trying to build up other defensive lines for the Germans, and I just don't have the troops to do it. Through no fault of the Germans, just the way I've played them, more than likely. Hasn't been overly smart. But, and especially once we can knock out the U-boats, that's going to free up at least one American sack bomber to go and do other things as well. So, yeah, it's interesting. Realistically, the Germans are weak everywhere. at this stage. And even though they've got more troops to come, the Allies have got a hell of a lot more troops just sitting in England and in Africa, let alone what else they're going to get. I don't think anybody gets anything until July 2 for the Allies. And yeah, July 5th, all we're doing is turning a training one over for... the Germans don't get anything until the last week in July, effectively. So it's going to be messy. And we'll just have to see what comes of it. So again, thanks very much. And I will catch you next time. Bye for now.